Hey y'all, this is Where DJ Goes, and this is Austria, and why I look back at my time in the Austrian Alps with mixed emotions. I mean, it pretty much started out like any of the other countries we'd recently been to, with beautiful views and breathtaking sunsets. So to be able to make the most of our time, we made our reservations so we could stay at the same place for a few days. We chose a B&B up in the Alps, past Egg, Austria, at the Pension Barbara. It's nestled in this quaint little village between the mountains. And y'all, their room service had the best cappuccinos and macchiato lagos that I've ever had in my life. And I was obsessed with this little pop-up rooftop window in our room. I spent an entire day walking around Andelsbuch, snapping pics and videos, and so obviously being a tourist, with no shame. Y'all, the walk from our B&B headed into town, it was like something out of a fairy tale. It was the type of town that makes you slow down, appreciate what you've got and what's in front of you, and thank whoever it is that you think that you get to exist in such a place. Thankful for everything that brings you joy. And I don't know when it is that y'all will be watching this, but this week is Thanksgiving, and I'm so thankful for y'all. For me, it's when I'm out exploring new villages, making new friends, traveling with my friends, and sharing these experiences with y'all. I just want to travel the world, footloose and fancy-free, from one coffee shop to the next, or one cheese house to the next. 'Cause y'all, queso es numero uno. But have y'all tried spätzle, schnitzel, mint mushrooms? Because after I did, I wasn't quite sure that Bob was going to convince me to get in the Sprinter to leave the bottom of this mountain. Until I convinced him that we need to go have lunch at the top of it. And convincing Bob to do anything that veers off path is pretty much an act of God. But who can turn down lunch on top of the Alps?
Ja. Oh wow.
My ears popped.
Ladies and gentlemen, world's worst YouTube travel vloggers.
I mean, he's not wrong. Sometimes that's just the way it goes, where DJ goes.
Das ist zu wenig los, dass ich jetzt aufeinander verstehe. Oder fand ich gleich weiter hoch.
Pretty cool. We are up in the Alps. I like when those things go. We get a shot like this with that thing going over. Oh shoot. We're going up there. We're on the zip line now. Those guys were just on here a minute ago. Now my ears are popping.
Mine are too.
We're going up. What a cool job you have.
Der cooleste Job ever.
You have a cool
Well, maybe second coolest ever. 'Cause this is where DJ goes. But yeah, those office views every day, probably not the worst.
Okay,
here we go.
I mean, hands down better than any office view I've ever had. Maybe the best view I've ever had.
And there is this time we have with the emergency.
Emergency.
Yes.
So even at this point in 2020, it was a strange year. The Austrian Alps had no snow, so we wouldn't be sledding down, but I did snag a few snow peak selfies. We had some great views of the local village and all the way to Lake Constance. So I made sure to snag a few selfies in front of both of those, and I got one of Bob and I.
top of the mountain to get this view for you. Look at that. Look at that, buds.
Unfortunately, our time atop the Alps was limited, so it was time to grab that lunch. I, of course, got another lago and some more spätzle and schnitzel. And as we sat enjoying our lunch, I had one of the most amazing experiences as to date, watching the clouds forming below us and rising up into the sky. And I'm still not sold that it wasn't an AI form masquerading. Because y'all, they out there. Because this big old world sure is little out there. And standing down at the Austrian Alps, looking at the world below you, it'll remind you real quick. So with a belly full of schnitzel, a heart full of gratitude, and some experiences of a lifetime, it was time to head back down the Alps.
It sucks about the virus.
Oh ja, ein Sturm. Am 6. Eine Sonderfahrt in der K gestern. Dort habe ich 3 Mal Windbahn und Winterrahmen gekriegt.
No power going to those houses. Weird, huh? There's no power. It's like solar. Or what? Those guys have solar. There's no power lines.
But y'all, what was to come, and the fact that it only was what it was, and that look that we got from the Soul Taker, it was, without a doubt, a God thing. Because for about 12 minutes, I drove through the Austrian Alps. Then I popped a wheelie, and both tires, in a 9-passenger Sprinter van. I swear time stood still as a broken CD case flipped in the air in front of my face, and Bob flipped in the air behind me. And I made eye contact with the traffic director, yelling, "Scheiße!" So what happened was, I hit that little ledge right there, and it catapulted me into that guardrail. But I landed it. And we made some new buds, Yvonne, Gerard, and Anton. The type of buds that just get out on the side of the highway and give you their car for the night. Y'all, that's a bud.
Oh, buddy, here we go.
Make sure to comment, like, and subscribe. Then y'all go check out the video of Prague. We got to be tourists while the Sprinter got repairs.